Welcome to the Wednesday, October 15th, 2025 update for the Hungry Strike for America and the latest in the 2026 election news on the Honor and Knowledge channel. And speaking of honor, let's go straight to New Jersey and the governor's race. Yes, that's occurring this year, but it will probably have some significant impact on next year's race for the 2026 elections in New Jersey. This morning in the New York Post, there was an article about the New Jersey governor's race. Of course, it's the New York Post, but they made a mistake. I'm a graduate of the Naval Academy. The person quoted in the New York Post is a Naval Academy graduate. He stated that if you don't turn in an honor violation, then you are yourself committing an honor violation. That is actually incorrect. At the Naval Academy, you do not have the requirement to submit somebody for an honor violation. Quite honestly, it all depends on the situation. Not turning in somebody as the governor candidate for the Democrats, as stated, was not the cause of her being punished. As the New York Post properly stated, there's a lot of Naval Academy graduates who may be saying that the Democratic governor candidate is, let's just say her story has holes in it. That's the nice way of putting it. So that's basically all to talk about for New Jersey. Let's go on to the Hungry Strike. As you can see in the official Hungry Strike for America sign behind me, there's a 13th star. So the second row has a third star. This one I haven't outlined in the normal red. I have outlined it in blue. That signifies for me the celebration for the release of the Israeli hostages. If you recall, on the top row, the one on the right is outlined in black, and that's in memory of Charlie Kirk and Irina Natushka. They were killed in the same week. Now onward to, yes, Fulton County is in the news again. You may have seen what President Trump said about Fulton County in the Oval Office just yesterday. But first, he talks senators.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you about the Georgia Senate race. I know it's very early, but there's several Republicans in that field that are vying for your endorsement.
A lot of good people in that field.
Yes.
I know all of them, actually. I haven't made a decision on that, but you have some very good people in the Georgia Senate race.
Well, Governor has endorsed.
No, I know. The governor he's spoken to me about it a lot. He likes that candidate a lot. And I understand that. I haven't made a decision yet. Okay. But I'm following that race very carefully. I think it's very important for Georgia to get a real senator, because the senator they have now is a horrible senator. He allows all the crime, all the borders. You have open borders. I mean, his whole philosophy is a disaster. That's not representative of the people of Georgia. I know the people of Georgia. I won Georgia 3 times, but they say twice. Okay, I won it very big the last time, and I won it big the first time, and I won it big the second time, but we had criminals that didn't allow. I mean, I hope they're going to go into that. I hope they go into the votes which are being stored in Fulton County and take a real look at those votes, okay? Because I won it the second time too. But I know Georgia very well. I love Georgia. Those people are great, and they deserve a good senator, because the man they have now is a weak, ineffective person. Okay.
President Trump is referring to the Department of Justice request to have access to all the ballots from the 2020 election, not the 2024 election, the 2020 election in Fulton County. What he didn't talk about is the ongoing shenanigans, as I call them, the ongoing violation of state law by the Fulton County commissioners, in that they refuse to seat the Republicans on the election board that they are supposed to do by Georgia state law. And the Democrats are slow walking this through the court system because they know they're going to lose. More on this in the future, obviously. And speaking of the court system, Supreme Court. I listened to the Supreme Court hearing about the Louisiana versus Calais hearing. That's where Louisiana is gone to the Supreme Court to state that racial gerrymandering, in other words, purposely creating a district that has a minority, is not in accordance with the Constitution. I believe that the Supreme Court is going to rule in favor of Louisiana. My position is based upon the facts. For example, in order to create a black district, you also use whites. So if your intention is to provide a black congressman for representing black people, then you are hurting the white people in that same district if your theory continues on and assumes that a white community will only vote for a white person. So you're hurting somebody in the exact same way that you're trying to help somebody. And as the Constitution says, all men are created equal. And the second reason is they're assuming that all blacks vote as a block. There are black Democrats, there are white Democrats, there are Democrats of every shape and size, just like the same thing is true for the Republicans. They should not be stereotyping blacks into parties. Having said that, one of the things that a lawyer said in the Supreme Court hearing was that in West Virginia and other states, there is a significant minority of Democrats who happen to be white. They do not have a gerrymandered district to help them out. So to me, you leave it up to the states. I think it's a states' right. Constitution says leave it to the states. The federal government needs to get out of this racial gerrymandering thing. Interestingly, on TV, I think that they were overestimating the value of this to the Republicans. The TV commentators are saying that this could be as many as 19 House districts swung over to the Republicans. Personally, I believe the number is much lower. I used to say that I anticipated through the redistricting that had been planned, including Florida's, which is occurring next year, that a low of 5 to a high of 10 House seats would swing over to the Republicans. As a result of this meeting, I'm planning on the Supreme Court saying that Louisiana is correct, that they don't need to do racial gerrymandering. My estimate will be 10 to 15 total for all reasons that the Republicans will gain House seats through redistricting. Now, there's also been discussion regarding what if the Supreme Court doesn't come up with a decision until much later next year. My belief is that if the Supreme Court delays making their announcement, some of these states are just going to go ahead and redistrict anyway, and to walk it through the court system, like Fulton County is doing it slow, until the Supreme Court actually makes its decision. Before we move on to Utah, let's talk about the shutdown. I believe that what we are seeing and hearing is the death rattle of the Democrat Party. I believe that the Democrat Party is going through its final death throes. It makes no sense what they're doing. There is absolutely nothing that the Republicans wanted as part of their continuing resolution other than just keep the status quo for less than 2 months. And the result of the shutdown is a lot of pain, but the Trump administration is offsetting that pain a lot by paying the troops and other people. I believe that more Democrat senators are going to cross party lines. If you think about it, there's actually 4 different groups of people in the Democrat Party. One group is the moderate Democrats. Those are the 2 Democrat senators who have already supported the continuing resolution, along with Senator King from Maine. They're traditional Democrats. They're pro-USA. Then we have the other extreme, the Democrat socialists, communists, take everything from you and give it to me group. Then in between are 2 groups. One, not far from the traditional Democrats, are the machine Democrats. They're the ones used to working in the Democrat machine. They just vote Democrat because they always have. They blindly follow whoever is telling them what to do. There is no independence of any kind whatsoever. The only thing I think they actually care about is their own survival and maintaining their own style of living, just using the Democrat machine. So they are not pro-American, they are pro-Democrat Party. And then the other group between that group and the Democrat socialist gimmies is the group that are the, I don't know, I'd call it crazies. I think President Trump would call them crazies also. They're the ones that are completely supporting boys and girls sports, completely supporting Hamas, completely supporting everything that is anti-US. So you have the moderate Democrats who are pro-United States. You have the next group who are a little bit more radical and they are pro themselves, pro-Democrat Party, without regard to the United States. Then we have the next group who are anti-United States. And then we have the Democrat Socialist Communists who have only 2 things that they care about. One is maintaining their own elitist position, and number 2 is stealing from everybody else. So those are the 4 groups in the Democrat Party. I believe we're seeing the end of the Democrat Party. Now let's talk Utah. 2 senators and 4 congressmen. And before we go on to them, yes, they've been doing redistricting, but I don't think that's going to cause a change anymore in the number of Republicans or no Democrats from Utah. So here we go. The great state of Utah is located right here. This is the official map I get to paint new states into. And here it is with Utah, newly minted. The senior senator is Senator Mike Lee. He was last elected in 2022, so he's not up in 2026 for election. And the junior senator is Senator Curtis, John Curtis. He was elected last year in 2024, so he also will not be up for election next year. 4 House districts in Utah, all held by Republicans. The first one is Congressman Blake Moore, a very good Republican. The second one is Congress Lady Celeste Malloy, also a great Republican. Third one is Congressman Mike Kennedy, also a good Republican. And the 4th district is held by Congressman Burgess Owens, extremely good Republican, extremely good man, fantastic background, included being a Miami Hurricane. He broke a bunch of barriers as a black fellow in college sports. He's done an amazing number of things in his career. He's a fantastic individual. So, to recap, 13 pounds? Yay! Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your time. God bless you. God bless President Trump and his administration. God bless the hostages and their families. Pray for the families that have lost their loved ones and have not yet received the bodies. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. See you next week.